Hi, so today we're going to be doing another geometry tutorial. This time though is going to be slightly more specific, because as you might know, the man himself, EVW, is going to be going for Bloodlust sometime soon, perhaps even this year. So I want to help him out, obviously, just because he's quite literally the reason why I'm playing this game in the first place. And if I can say this quote-unquote thank you by making a tutorial like this, it would just mean a world to me, actually. And obviously it's not going to be just made for EVW specifically, because this level is one level that a lot of people want to beat, so obviously I want to help out those who want to beat the level as well. Anyways, let's get into it. And just before starting the tutorial, I want to say that before you actually go for this, I would always recommend beating Bloodbath first, just because Bloodbath has a lot of similarities in its gameplay, and learning Bloodlust is going to be that much easier after you complete Bloodbath. So this very first ship is deemed by a lot of people to be absolutely impossible, and honestly I do not agree with that, just because it does actually get very consistent. You would be surprised, and especially, you know, if you're good at ship, because that's what Bloodlust tests the most, and EVW is the best at ship. This ship is like, you do less clicks than you actually think. Basically, this first structure here, you can do more clicks. You drop early because you have this spike here, and then you do 1, 1, 1, 1, kind of like that. Let me show what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. See what I mean? You do not do these massive quadruple click combos. You just do slow 1, 1, 1, 1. Just make sure to drop pretty early on that, you know, that the first structure you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you drop early. And then the rest is kind of the same. You can do the same thing here. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Look, I'm not doing many clicks in the slightest, and it's really consistent actually. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Now let's do the part in full. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Boom. It actually goes very well into the rhythm, like 1, 2, 1, 2. You count that, and it actually becomes really consistent. And now this next ship it's literally like Bloodbath, except there's only one thing you should really focus on. You see those very dark spikes here? Yeah, you just have to learn where the hitboxes are. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, early and early on both of those orbs. Literally like Bloodbath. There's like no point of explaining that further, just because that part is slightly harder than Bloodbath. Now this though, yeah, this is quite difficult. This is like the first part you will die to a lot. Now there's some tricks, there's some visual cues that I definitely recommend using as per usual. So in this first click, you have these like X's, right? You click on the second, like you see this small X, right? You click right on that, and then you pretty much release on any moment in this mini portal, but I recommend actually releasing pretty late, because like sometimes you can just be tiny bit too early and you will just die, right? So tiny bit higher than like super early. So this X, and then kinda higher than usual, right? These two double clicks are hard. It's kinda a rhythm thing again, because you have to hold on the first double quite a long time, and then you can release on like one visual cue. So it's like 1, 2, hold for a very long time, and you can see this one structure here, right? You want to get to that structure and do another like 1, 2, even double click, not like 1, 2, but 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Something like that. One thing though I would want to add is, in this release, you do not want to go early, because as you can see, there is this dumb bush, and I fucking hate it. I hate this bush so much. Always go late in this structure, because what it actually does, look, if you go late, you are just so far from this bush that this click is literally free. If you go early, this click becomes really difficult. You have to go extremely early, like pretty much hugging this wall. We don't want to do that. So yeah, just go late and then do 2 clicks, and those clicks are actually really easy. 1, 2. You don't want to release too late in this portal. There's so much space in these 2 remaining clicks. I never struggled with those. I've never seen anyone struggling with those last 2 clicks. It's just the middle that is like way harder. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, late, and then 1, 2. Yeah, that wave is pretty hard though. Now, this part is pretty cool, because this part is just like in Bloodbath, but it's easier, which that makes it infinitely better, because this part in Bloodbath is kinda stinky, not gonna lie. So, what you can do is you literally hold, you do not press a button here. You can hold all the way through with the ball, and you can buffer that click. And then the same thing, you do the same click pattern as I explained in the Bloodbath tutorial. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If you pass the wave, you will just always pass this ball at this point. This transition is a preference thing, as you might know. Some people do one stroke, release like high into the portal, and then they click right like that. I never found that to be consistent. I always did one and then second click in the middle. I always did it like that. It always was very consistent for me. So again, a preference thing, depends what works the best for you. For the remaining bits, what you do is, again, you want to get into a comfortable ship click pattern. You want to learn the click pattern and then stick to that click pattern. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 1, 2, 3. You can do it in both ways like that. What you do is, you have so much space here as in Bloodbath, you do not literally click anything, you can even click here. There's a lot of space, so we don't worry about that. You enter the portal, and right after you enter, you do 2 clicks. You could do it with 1, but I found always doing 1 click way more risky. So doing an extra click just will help with this ceiling structure. 1, 2. And then you want to go pretty early on this timing. If you go late, this can happen, because those spikes are jutting out ever so slightly. So you can die like that if you just go too late. But if you go early enough, you will just make it. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. And on that 1, 2, 3, you want to make sure you go late. Why? Let me show you. If you go 1, 2, 3, you can see that there is some ceiling. And it's kind of stupid, it shouldn't be in this level, but 1, 2, 3. But there's actually a different thing, because in Bloodbath what you do is you hold all the way through and then you go. In this level it's literally opposite, so you go 1, 2, 3 and then you let go. Like, you can let go in the darkness, or you can let go here, and it's going to be a different timing for the ball. Let's do the ship in full now, actually. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Boom! That's the ship. It is all about the click pattern as well again. Now, this ball part, as I said, if you just land very low, you can buffer this timing, right? If you just go kinda higher, you can just do a normal click. A preference thing, if you want a free click and the buffer just go low, it literally doesn't matter in the slightest. This click is just a very late blue orb timing, and for this timing specifically, you can actually buffer this blue orb, but you can only buffer it if you're late enough. Like, if you're early and you will buffer it, you will just die. So yeah, like, just make sure to go tiny bit late and then buffer the blue orb, because, you know, buffering the clicks, right? It makes the level easier, so why would you not use that? This section is so wide open up until you get to these blue orbs. Like, you just go middle on all of these timings, and I mean all of these, like, middle, late. These blue orbs are definitely the hardest part of this ball. I mean, this ball is not that hard, but these are definitely the hardest part. Click them very late, but you don't want to, like, click them too early, because for some reason, look at these spikes. The first spike has an extra hitbox for no reason, and the second blue orb is, like, super easy. So focus primarily on the first blue orb, because if you pass the first blue orb, you rarely will ever die to the second one. And then this part is really cool, because it's easy. It's actually, the ending of this ball is like, once you pass those blue orbs, you should be set to get to the Michigan. Late, you can buffer this timing, so you can actually buffer this orb as well. Although, from what I remember, you could somehow clip that slope. I would just click this blue orb, even though in this instance I can buffer it. I would just click this blue orb ever so slightly late. An important tip at the end of this ball, you can do it actually in 2 ways, because you can click it so easy, it doesn't matter. What matters is this. You can literally buffer this and land on this corner, which helps so much lining up this timing. What you were supposed to do is do something like that. From my experience, like, going the entire screen with one ball timing, it just makes it way more difficult to time orbs. But if you land on the corner, and then press that, it's just way easier. So I definitely recommend using that corner. Like, you can hear me buffering a lot of these timings, so this should just indicate that this bowl part is not that difficult. So now moving to Michigan, and oh my god, this part is so much easier than the part in Bloodbath. So for these triple spikes, there is visual cues, and luckily those visual cues help you so much. First visual cue, you see this kind of like an arrow. You literally get to that arrow and then you press, and then it always works. Boom. Look, arrow, and I'm just. Arrow and then boom. That's the visual cue. That helps you so much. Here it's slightly different because you have the same arrow here, right? But you do not press it exactly on the arrow, just ever so slightly after it. So you look at the arrow and then once you passed it, you click. Boom, like here. And then here, it's again, there is a visual cue. You can see, it kind of looks like some grass, let's say. You get to that and then you press. Look. It's kind of hard to see because, you know, the screen is getting darker, but it's pretty easy as well. This triple spike is probably the easiest one, actually. Wait a bit after that visual cue and then press it on the grass. And now, I won't be explaining that straight fly because literally one-to-one replica of Bloodbath straight fly. And this ball part is insanely easy compared to the ball part in Bloodbath. You literally buffer the first click, go in the middle. You do have a visual cue for these two. You press on the grass and you press on this arrow. CFO is literally my favorite part in this level, just because it's so much easier than the one in Michigan. In Michigan, you have all of the spikes the same size. In this level, the final click, which is the most important one, is actually nerfed. So the rule is literally the same. As soon as your UFO is about to touch the spikes, like the outline, you click. So, boom, outline, outline, and then you go, and then you can hold pretty much whenever you want to, because there's so much more space than in Bloodbath. There are another two visual cues. So we have this mini grass as well. You press on that, and then you press on this arrow. For the wave, it's kind of a preference thing again, because you can do it in two ways, right? I did it always with like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I always did it kind of like that, and you can just press in the middle of each timing, in the middle of each spike, I should say. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So on this timing here, you want to go late, because if you go 1, 2. If you go like 1, 2 like that, you will die to this spike, yeah? So let's do the full part now, let's go. Boom, and that's Michigan. This part is so much more consistent than in Bloodbath. And now we are getting into the meat and potatoes of this level. The next 3 parts are really hard. So Evasium's part. This part is like so much more difficult than everything before. The first click is literally a buffer, so no like philosophy for that. For this ship, what I would recommend is you see these kind of gaps in between when you are flying like upwards and downwards. I would focus on those, because if you're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to just be straight flying, you'll just be sometimes too high and you'll die by hitting that, or too low and do something like that. Make sure to look at those gaps in between this ship. So yeah, there's like one gap, there's another one, there's another one. For the mini ship, it's kind of short. It's like you do a few clicks, and on the final one you do a big loop over the soul blade. So yeah, look at that, and then on the final click of the mini ship, you look at the soul blade. This wave, right? It's hard. There's 2 ways of doing that. You can do it with 1 click and then do the rest like that, or you can do it with 2 clicks and then go up. I always found doing wave parts like this easier with double clicks. If you are feeling like it doesn't work for you, definitely do it with 1 click. That's mini wave, and there aren't any tricks to it. It's literally really difficult. This wave here is also pretty challenging. You could do it with 1 sweeping stroke on this click. I found that to be ridiculously inconsistent. So what I do here is you go very high in this portal, because you can see there's this mini spike, right? So if you go low, you'll just die to it, right? So always go high up through this green portal. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And make sure to go late on each click. And the UFO is quite literally the exact same as in Bloodbath. Only tip I give, as I did for my Bloodbath tutorial, is make sure to spread the UFO clicks evenly out. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a few clicks. Boom, and that's Evasium's part, and that part is, yeah, it's really hard. You cannot deny the fact that it is. Now, moving to Landfar's part, and this part, oh my god, it's like one of the absolute most satisfying ship parts of all time. But it's pretty difficult, definitely. I would argue it's probably easier than Evasium's part. It definitely gets more consistent. I don't know if it's actually easier. So, what you do on this first orb is you kind of like fall into it and then you hold. But you don't want to do two things. You don't want to go too early or too late. Because if you go too early, this is what will happen. You will just die to that spike. And if you go too late, you will go too high up to that spike structure. 1, 2, 3. And then you hold in the middle. 1, 2, 3. And then you hold in the middle. 1, 2, 3. And then on that 3, you want to go in the middle of the orb. Hold until you hit the next yellow orb. You can also do it with like 1, 2, 3, something like that. It depends. It depends actually how high you went from the transition in the UFO. If you're too high, I would recommend doing only 2 clicks, but if you're like a bit too low, yeah, doing like 3 clicks and then clicking the yellow orb in the middle is going to be better. 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. For this yellow orb, you can click it like whenever you want to. This part here is actually pretty interesting because you have to be flying upwards, but each spike is slightly different size and slightly different angle. After you hit this speed change, you kind of like go high into it, and then from this point you start going up. You want to go kind of high into the speed change. Look how perfectly it lines you up. You see these bricks in the background, right? After around these bricks, you start going slowly up, and then you continue that until you reach the green orb. Look how well it actually lines you up for that structure. You go bum, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. Those bricks actually are a pretty good visual cue. You don't have to use them. Like, the most important thing is like going up, going high into the speed portal, and then like falling from it to that structure. High, and then wait, and then start going up. Now, this green orb, I definitely recommend hitting late. If you click it early, like what it does, you'll just be very low, and for some reason being very low for this next bit is harder. I don't know why. You go late into that, and then you proceed with the next bit, right? So yeah, you go up, and then you hold for a long time. You literally can hold and let go even like here. Yeah, there's like a lot of space in that. Infamous Namtar straight flies. They are sides, but they are only side because they are like, each spike is different size at the entrances. You have to just get into the motion of doing that up and down. And that's why I don't recommend clicking a lot. Get into the motion from this green orb, so you can do it in like, bro, I literally clicked 3 times. Late, 1, 2, 3. This orb is like, it's literally just like in Bloodbath. You wait a second and then you hold press. You hold press until you're right about to touch the speed portal. So right around here, let go. Same thing here. The spikes are slightly different sizes. On the first click, I would only click once. Doing like multiple clicks can really easily throw you off, especially if you're not used to gameplay like this. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. It's going to be way easier. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. This green orb is very easy. You can literally press it anywhere you want. I would definitely hit it like a bit later, just because if you go like early, you have to hold for longer. Literally doesn't matter. You can hit this green orb whenever you want to. You hold for a while until you like fly here. So you can do it all with one motion. You can do it with like another readjusting click, but doing it all in one motion is going to be way more consistent. 1, let go in the middle, right around here. And then you do 1 click, and then you continue with the rest. And actually, this rest is kinda annoying. Just the very end of this part is kinda annoying. But all you do, start going slightly up, and then you fall into the portal. You kinda want to fall low into this portal, and you will be literally perfectly aligned with the straight fly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fall into the yellow portal. Look how perfectly you are aligned for the straight fly. If you would be like high, this is what happens. You would have to dip down and do a straight fly like that. Let's do this part in full right now. It's very complicated. Boom, and that's Damtar. Alright, so another part, literally like in Bloodbath. I actually think it's a bit easier because you have like, for some reason you have like more time. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, you just go late and then you click that late and then you can buffer. It's like the simplest cube part of all time, so I won't like be spending 10 hours on that. This is literally like Bloodbath, so you will just, you know, you will have the muscle memory from Bloodbath. But for some reason, I don't know, I just found this UFO to be in this click here. I died to this timing so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Literally the exact same click pattern, doesn't change in the slightest. 42 to 45 is considered by many the hardest part of the level. I agree with that to some extent, but there is like a few tricks to make it easier. What you're supposed to do in this part is like something like that. 1, 2, 1, 2. Like you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. There's a very cool skip to that and definitely saves some trouble. So 1, 1, 2, 3. Boom. If you like fly into the portal, you can skip that entire thing and only do one timing. You just want to make sure you are flying into the portal. Because if you like drop into it, this is what happens. You like want to fly into the portal. So, but you don't want to do something like this. 1, 1, 2. Because if you hold into the portal, you'll jump. If you are too low, you will not make it. So you want to like go high into it, but not hold into it, if that makes any sense. 1, 2, 3. Boom. It's really easy to actually do. This is an upward straight fly, so you will be going high anyway. Go up into the portal and then click literally one pink orb. There's like 5 pink orbs, right? This kind of tricks you into thinking you have to press 3. You can literally press the first one. Look. You just press the first one. Once again, 1, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, boom. And then the rest of this part is, yeah, the infamous Bloodlust, the infamous swingcopter, the infamous upward, downward, straight fly. So what you do is you click once, and then you click this orb early. Do not click anything for actually a pretty long time after that. So you wait after you are past this first spike structure, press once, and then click that orb late. 1, 2, late, and then look. There's a pad that bounces you up so you don't press anything. You wait until you reach these spikes and then you start doing the upward straight fly. And the upward straight fly, there's no tricks. You literally have to go up. That's it. Once you wait and then do the upward straight fly. And now we are onto the swingcopter, and this part is... It's a big choke point, isn't it? That swingcopter, it is hard. Unfortunately, there aren't many tricks to that. You just have to get into the motion with this swingcopter. Don't make this swing go too far to any of the objects. That's like the only thing I would say to it. And that's the entire part. Yeah, that 4% is really difficult. It's most likely the hardest part of the level. And now the level actually gets slightly easier. The answer is actually very similar in terms of structuring, because there's way more portals and spikes. So yeah, the first click, you just hold, you avoid the hand. The UFO is the exact same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Boom. The UFO is actually the exact same, which is really cool. This part is kind of a different story. So yeah, in this beginning, you have this one extra spike. So you have to click like once and then 1, 2, fall into the ground. So you do 1, 2, 3, something like that. What you would look the most at is this one spike. Yeah, this one spike is definitely the hardest click in this ship beginning. This part here is where it actually spices up. You have to press once before this portal. So yeah, you just have to do one click. And then for that part, it's all flying skill. So you click one time and do a bit of a straight fly. For this portal, you want to go high into it, but you don't want to go too high, because if you go too high, you can hit this one stupid bush in the way. Yeah, this is what can happen. You can also hit that soul blade. So you want to go like high into the portal, around that. Yeah, you want to do something like that. You don't want to go too low either way, because if you go too low, this is what happens. So yeah, you go kinda high, and you don't have to press anything. If you don't want to do that with one click, you can do an extra click after the portal, but I find that's way more inconsistent, because, you know, there's quite a few objects in the way. Like, one straight fly, go kinda high into the portal. This is the perfect position to go into the portal, because you're not too high, so you'll make it, and you'll perfectly transition, and look, you don't have to press anything. And then you only do like 2 clicks. You can do it with 1, but again, kinda a safety thing, right? So you go 1, 2, and then click all of these in the middle. As for the transition in Edzar, you cannot be too late, you cannot be too early. You just have to be perfectly in the middle, and then you do not click anything, and this aligns you for the straight fly. This part is kind of annoying, because you have multiple portals in the ship. I do 2 clicks in between each portal. I know you could do it with only 1, but it's a preference thing. If you feel more safe doing it with 1 click, then do it with 1 click. Let's do that part in full now. Oh, that was actually weird in that attempt. I almost died, and, you know, the Edzar face popped up. Now we have this ball. This ball is a bit different from Bloodbath, because... So what you do, you click all of these in the middle, as per usual. I mean, you can literally buffer the yellow orb, and you can buffer this click. Yeah, definitely buffer this click, and then press the blue orb very late, because you have to buffer the next one. You have to buffer the... I mean, you don't have to necessarily buffer it, but it's going to be easier. So you go late, and then you buffer that click, and then you also go pretty late on this timing. And there's a bit of a trick you can do on Havoc's ball part. You can just go onto the Havoc's name and then press it like that, or you can do the intended route and do it like that. Again, a preference thing, whatever works the best for you. This UFO is pretty easy, but it's different than the one in Bloodbath, obviously. It's like slightly different. What you do is you never want to buffer this. The click pattern that works for this is very simple. It's similar to Bloodbath, because it's, you know, it's the same structuring. You go late into the first click, and then the click pattern is like this: 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the first 2 clicks are late. 1, 2, those are late. These are pretty early, but the second one should be a bit later, just because you need to have enough height to reach the triple speed portal. Right before the speed portal, you click once. If you go directly on the speed portal, you'll be way too high. So right before the speed portal, you click once. 1, 2, 1, something like that. Middle, and then the rest is like so wide open. Like, look how much space you have here. Just press 1 late, and then the second one is like, it literally doesn't matter. Boom, that's another part down. That part is way easier than the parts before. There's only like a few clicks you should like be aware of. And now this wave is kinda obnoxious. Not only is it like very dark, but there's like so many actually spikes in it. You should approach this wave pretty much the same as in Bloodbath, except for the middle, which is the portal. I will get to it right now. In this part, you look at the spikes, right? I would look at the spikes more than the wave. You have to do a tiny click before this portal. 1, 2. If you do it like with big stroke, you can, yeah, you can do something like that, and we don't want that to happen. So 1, 2. The rest of this wave is like fairly chill. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Something like that. Now, but literally this is the same difficulty, I would say, as the ship in Bloodbath. A few more spikes, and it's darker. So yeah, it's going to be harder overall. 1, 2, 3, hold, and then do a straight fly. You know, the duel is quite literally the exact same. So the finale to Bloodbath, what you do, you don't want to buffer this click. You want to go very late into that platform and then click this. If you go like immediately from this platform, hitting that is going to be like a unironically like a frame perfect. So you buffer the first click and then you go very late on the platform and then you click the blue orb. But you don't want to go like too late, because if you go too late, you will hit the spike like that. So you just wait a bit and then hit that in the middle. The rest of this part is the same as in Bloodbath. The only thing here is that ending is slightly different because, you know, there's an extension. Only thing you should watch out here is, as you might see, literally one spike that does not have the extra hitboxes. Every other spike has them. This, you will normally go down, right? So after this, you buffer this timing, and then you have the absolute perfect visual cue for this triple spike. You see this, again, this massive arrow. If this wasn't a thing, this triple spike would be kinda annoying. Likely this is a thing, so yeah. At the end of this arrow, you just click. If you go too early, or even in the middle of it, like around here, you will not make it. Just after the arrow. Boom, and that's the part, that's Bloodbath done, and now we only have extension left. How this works is, you press literally one time. You do not press many times in this ship. You do 1, 2, 1, 2. But make sure to press slightly harder on the first one. If you do a very little click, the second one you'll have to do a very, very little click. So slightly harder and then boom, that's it. From this part, you literally can hold from this blue orb all the way through until you reach the green orb. You could use the yellow orb, but that's like the most unnecessary orb of all time. I don't know why people use it. So you avoid that, and then you literally press. You don't have to even hold. You literally press. This is weird because I'm now passing this platform. From what I remember, if you don't press it, you can sometimes don't make it to the robot portal. So always like do a tiny click before entering the robot platform like that. This robot click is one of the absolute biggest choke points in this level. It's really tight. You want to aim to be high into this orb. If you are low into it, there's only like a few frames you can make this click, jump pretty far into the orb and then press it early. For some reason, if you press it early, it works. Now this robot staircase, there's two ways of doing it. You can use every staircase. For me, it is like way less consistent, doing like 1, 2, 3, boom, boom. It's way less consistent. Doing one click and skipping the second staircase is way easier. Like look, you can even buffer the platform and skip the second. This part here, you have to like go into the orbs. Boom, boom. The second one, I would recommend actually hitting a bit more late. The first one you can press a little more in the middle, but the second one definitely more late. It's going to adjust you better for the straight fly, and this straight fly is actually really tight. Also in this straight fly, I recommend clicking pretty much as soon as you enter the portal. Of course, not something like this, because, you know, you'll just die immediately. Wait a tiny split second, so you go 1, 2, 3, and then you hold on the last click. Why? Because you will just buffer this yellow orb immediately from the ship. 1, 2, 3, hold. This wave part is a bit stinky. You can see the slopes are kind of sticking out. So if you're too late, see what happened? If you're too late and you're hugging the wall, you'll somehow die to the slope. So you cannot be too late, and this is really stupid because you will just die to something That is, yeah, you see what I mean. Kind of as soon as you touch that arrow, I would say, that decoration, right before you touch that, you can go. So here you never want to be too high. Always release low, like release always early. Boom! And that's the part. Yeah, moving to the next part. Now, why did I want you to go early into the wave release? If you go late into it, you will just not make that click. Let me actually show you. See, I am late, and you have to press this green orb so inhumanly late then. That I just don't recommend that. There is also another tech you could do, and I did it personally just because I didn't want that to happen from Zaro. You could double click from the green orb. Two ways of doing that. You either double click, you just do what? See, this is what I mean. You have to press this green orb so late. That's why I personally did the 2 clicks, like 1 extra click after the green orb. If you don't have fast fingers, then definitely just go low into this and then press once. Late, by the way, because you can still die if you click early. Late, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Something like that. The rest of this UFO is actually really easy and wide open. This part though, this ball click is hard. Yeah, this ball timing is a choke point, and it's a pretty big choke point actually. So you do that, you buffer the second click, and then you hit the blue orb blade, and then buffer the next clicks as well. So literally the only 2 timings in this ball, the first timing and the blue orb, everything else is buffer clicks. Boom. That's it. Moving on to Zaro's part. This part takes a lot of practice because there's a lot of portals, a lot of like switching gravity, a lot of orbs. You could, on the first portal, click only like 1, 2, but I always found like doing 1 click was never enough. Right after you enter the yellow portal, I always did 2 clicks, wait a bit, and then do the UFO timing with 1, 2, 3, and then here, right here. This straight line is actually pretty easy, but you could do it with 2 clicks. I do it with 3 clicks personally. I find it more safe for the click pattern that I developed. 1, 2, 1, and then hold from that, or 1, 2, 3, and then hold from that. I definitely recommend using 3 clicks, I think, and actually in this part where it's straight fly, it's going to be better if you do more clicks. 1, 2, 3, and then hold individually. 1, 2, 3, boom, hold. Boom. You do something like that. You want to go pretty high into the ball portal, because then you can buffer the next 2 clicks. Yeah, that's what can happen if you go slightly too low. It's very rare for that to happen, by the way. Like, you are always more than high enough. But just make sure to go ever so slightly above so that doesn't happen. So you go again. 1, 2, 3, hold high, and then you buffer these 2 timings. This straight fly here, you click on the portal, right? So 1, 2. You don't want to do something like that, even though you could. That's like unnecessary for that bit. 1, 2, and then you like wait until you transition and then you click. So what you do is you buffer all of these 3 clicks. You go, by the way, you want to make sure to hit that blue orb. It's very easy to jump off the slope and miss that blue orb, even though it's going to seem like you're going to be hitting that. Make sure to always focus on hitting that blue orb. It happened to me a few times. So late, and then you buffer these 3 clicks. This is interesting. If you press these 2 yellow orbs late and then buffer the next green orb, this is what happens. See, I was very well placed for that straight fly. You could also click the yellow orb, the green orb late, that's what I did personally in my completion, because someone later told me actually about this. So boom, and then you do the straight fly, and then you hold from the green orb. Boom! And that's that part. That part is definitely a bit easier than the first extension bit. Anyways, moving to the last bits of Bloodlust, this corridor. What you actually have here is you have these blue orbs, right? All of these clicks are in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Simple as that. 1, 2, 3. For this transition, you don't want to start clicking immediately, because it's very easy to click like this top spike if you start clicking immediately. So wait a tiny bit and then start straight flying. 1, 2, 3, and then wait a bit, then start straight flying. This ball part, same thing, though this ball part has, like, every click is different. Like, the first one is only 2 spikes, the second one is 3. This is kind of weird. You just want to make sure to always go in the middle, but be aware of the small spikes. That's super. That's what helped me the most with this ball, because I was dying to it a lot, and then I was like, maybe I'm going to like look at the mini spikes, and bro, I started looking at the mini spikes, and then this part just became so much more consistent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, not like 1, 2, 3, 4, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Slower, but not like super slow, and definitely not fast. Like controlled clicks, like 1, 2, 3, 4. First, like triple spike is, I mean, this cube is pretty easy. There's actually a visual cue you could use. You can see there's a chain here. So yeah, if your cube just is on that chain, you can click, if that's going to help you. Like, the second triple spike is really easy. The first one is kinda tricky, just because you just transitioned from the ball. So you could use definitely this chain as a visual cue. The same thing as in the beginning UFO, you do 1, 2, 3. The third click is most important. The first 2 clicks are really easy. This one is the most important. So what can you do? You can click once, wait, and then like start straight flying. You can go early and hold all the way through and straight fly like that. There's like a few ways of doing that. What I found to be the most consistent is go early and then hold until you can straight fly. You can also do this with 1 click. I never found that to be consistent. I always found that to be rather weird. So I always went early and then held and do a straight fly. Boom, that's the corridor. And now the last bit of Bloodlust before TMN. So what you do is you buffer this first click, simple as that. You have to also buffer this blue orb. You can be too early and you're going to be like, you are going to be like, oh, I want to buffer this blue orb, and you will accidentally hit the yellow orb. There is kind of a solution to that. I didn't use it personally, but I found it out as well. You can like wait and then do a double click and press both of the orbs, and it will be very consistent. You either avoid that double click and do something like that, or with a double click it's going to be the same. You're going to eliminate the problem of hitting the yellow orb if you are going to use the double click method. And this UFO timing is pretty hard, but you know, I mean, it's just, you go late into it, okay? It's pretty much just like that. There's no tricks. You fall into the portal, you press once, and then 1 more in the middle. I mean, the straight fly is really easy. Like, you actually, when you start playing this level, you barely ever die to it. So this timing is really hard. It killed me a few times from Zaro. It was really sad. You just have to go extremely late. This click is very unforgiving. Look, I'm going to go even here and there. I'm going to boom, like that. It's 1 click, but it's so like, it's literally 1 click and it's so difficult. This part is really easy. You just have to know what to do. You press this pink orb and then click from the portal like that. You press these 2 orbs and then you press the next one. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And by the way, I didn't tell you, but make sure to press the last blue orb a bit late, because if you buffer that, yeah, this is what can happen if you buffer that sometimes. So yeah, definitely hit the blue orb like late, and literally the problem is gone. Now this wave, you have these tiny spikes at the end. What you do, you want to look at the top spike, let go before it, then look at the bottom spike here, and then press right before it as well. This structure, you want to go late into the slope. If you go early, you can still make it, but you can just be too high and clip the top one. And if you're like hugging this slope, it will be really easy. You'll just go into it and you'll like never have a problem. So yeah, just go late into it. This part is interesting because this is really wide open, right? You just hold, but you don't want to be too late. If you are too late, then yeah, it's GG's for you. You can be really early, but you don't want to be too late because you will die to that. You have to like go into the ship portal and then click the blue orb to straight fly. It's definitely a run killer, especially under a lot of pressure. This ship transition is really rough. Boom, and then let go after you press that blue orb. So let go and then do 2 clicks. Like hold, let go, 1, 2. Hold 1, 2. Like once you get into the rhythm, it's very consistent, but getting into the rhythm is really hard. Hold 1, 2. You fall into the wave portal and then you do 2 strokes and then you hold all the way through. Super important, because if you hold from the ball portal as well, you can not do an extra click. 1, 2. First sweeping stroke should be really long, so you don't die to this soul blade. The second one you can go a bit earlier. Late and then boom, hold down the button all the way through. And then it's just a simple middle ball timing. It's pretty hard. This wave is pretty much the reverse of what we just went through, but it's like 1 extra timing, so 1, 1, 2. You just go kinda late on the first one, go far into it, and then do 2 clicks, and then just hold. What I do is I do 1, 2, 3, and then right before I do a straight fly. So 1, 2, 3, and then see I'm perfectly aligned for the straight fly. So again, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I just click there, and then you can, or you can just do. You can do something like that, but see, sometimes that can happen. So I definitely recommend doing 1, 2, 3, and then doing the straight fly. Boom! And that's the port! And now the cream of the crop, TMN. What this actually tests is UFO pretty much. Everything that isn't UFO is rather easy. You can do this beginning ship in 2 ways. You can like bonk your head on the top and then like fly like that. I found that very risky because I oftentimes just hit this spike and it was really annoying. So what I do is 1, 1, 2 and then like hold down the button until I smash that block. 1, 1, 2, hold, and then do a straight fly. Boom. You want to just go early into it, but you just have to wait. You just have to wait, and you have a cool visual cue. You see this, right? This like chain arrow thing, but not after you are past it. Just as soon as you're going to touch that, you press. It's a pretty cool visual cue, isn't it, right? So yeah, you're going to use that. It's going to be definitely better, because this first timing is definitely the hardest UFO click. Boom, and the second one is easier. The second one you can pretty much buffer. Look, I definitely don't recommend buffering that. Just fall ever so slightly into it and then click. Yeah, and then this wave is just skill. There is a few, you know, skips, as you can see. If you find actually going through this guy's nose easier, because you know it's a thing you can do, you can do it. I personally didn't, but it's just 1 click. It's pretty easy as well. 1, 2, and then here is another preference thing. You could do something like that, which, I mean, yeah, if you're feeling like it, you could definitely go like that, because this part was definitely very well playtested. Just go up, and then there's 2 ways. You could do it with 1 click and then proceed with the rest. I always found 1 click not enough, because with 1 click, very often, this is what will happen. You will just be ever so slightly off, or you will just be very poorly placed for the UFO. But if you do 2 clicks, that problem is literally gone. So definitely recommend using 2 clicks for this wave. And this UFO is like the last thing you will most likely die to. So the same thing, you just fall into it, wait a tiny bit, and then you go, like 1, 2, 3, late, late, late. And especially the third one, like especially on the third one, you have like more time. And then this ball is like a stress test. What you should focus on this ball is literally only these orbs, because these orbs are the only way you will die. And 1 more click. So yeah, late, and then very late for this orb as well. Here though, yeah, definitely focus on going early. Definitely go early on that click. That's super important. And then the last 2 ball clicks are really easy. This ship though is, yeah, there's 2 ways of doing that ship again. You could do something like that, as you can see, right before the straight fly and B normal gravity. That's again a bit of a swag route, but maybe some people would find that actually easier, so I want to include that as well. Normally you're reverse, so you wait a split second. You don't want to immediately start straight flying as soon as you hit the platform. Wait a split second and then do a straight fly. Wait a tiny bit and then do a straight fly. This triple spike. Luckily there's a visual cue for that. It's this object here. You can see this object different because there is two spikes in it, let's say. It kind of looks like a mountain, doesn't it? Yeah, there's like this big spike and a smaller spike. If you focus on that and click on that, boom, I passed the thing. Focus on that structure and then press on that, and boom. It's like, actually, the triple spike is really easy. You don't want to go too early on that, you don't want to like do that. But as soon as you like enter into that structure, you can click. Boom, and that's Bloodlust. So yeah, that was my tutorial for Bloodlust. It's definitely going to be by far the longest tutorial. I don't know yet how long it's going to be. I definitely hope EVW sees this. I really hope this is going to help him a lot. And everyone who is going to attempt this level, I also hope it's going to help you as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, everyone, and goodbye.